Okay, so questions on the website? Anybody have a validator error message that you don't know how to fix? How many people are done with the homework? Okay. Anybody else? That's due tonight, right? So finish it tonight. Make sure it validates. What about that char set error we were having last time with the validator? Anybody know how to fix that?
Then you have to put the character set UTF-8 on top.
Which one we were doing? Hello? Okay, so what do you want to put up here?
You want to put meta character set
In the head?
Yeah, yes, has to be that. Equal to UTF-8. I think it's UTF-8 is all caps slash hyphen 8. Hyphen 8, I'm sorry. Before 8. So.
That's your claim?
No, before 8. I said sorry.
UTF-8. Is that it?
Yes.
All right, so the claim is that we run the validator now and we were doing August 25. Errors found. No doc type found. All right, something else. Fine, for another day. Any other questions about other stuff? All right, so for you to do, I'll have you do this. All right, so homework 2, we don't have a homework 2 yet, right? See above, after class. So what are you going to need to do in homework 2? It's going to be due next Tuesday by midnight. Copy paste hello.html into your directory, your public underscore HTML directory as homework 2 hello HTML, and make it so the validator passes. All right, so you should get errors that are the same ones, and then go and find out how to fix them. You can talk to each other. You can. So that means at least one person needs to figure it out, right? You should figure it out yourself. Okay, so I'll also say next time we'll have a quiz on HTML tags. I took some notes up here about, these are all the different tags that are in the first couple slides of the UW course. So know them. The block tags, so what's the difference between block tags and inline tags? Something. Block tags are like for a block of stuff, and inline tags are just in the middle. All right, so if you look at those slides, you'll notice that a lot of times they put in parentheses block or inline. Inline tags go inside of block tags. Block tags don't go inside of other tags. They just go inside the body. All right, so these are all the ones that they use. Know how to use them. Know what they do. I also added some notes here about acronyms and such. So be able to give the one sentence little description for each of those. That's just basically how the internet works. Is it back? It's back. Okay. So on paper, no help of any kind. At least one question will be give a complete HTML file for something, right? I could ask you to use any of those tags, and we'll see whether anybody actually knows anything. Okay, so today the new topic is CSS, which is how to display pages, and also just playing around with using the web browser. Let's do some examples. So we'll say August 27. Okay, so here is a fun HTML page. There. All right, so now if I want this, so what's the basic idea with CSS? So the basic idea, look at the slides, but the basic idea is there's going to be rules to specify how things are displayed, and there are various ways to do that. So the CSS stands for? Great, isn't that exciting? So at the bottom level, it's cascading because there's many different levels. So different levels. So one thing you can do is you can specify a style here, like this. So inside of any tag, you can give a style. And different tags, so the color means something to a p tag, it may not mean something to every kind of tag. I can say I can put a link there. Now I can click on the link. Great. If I want, so because it's a link, you can give there's a style, there's a property called text decoration. I think that will make it so it's not underlined. So, but that doesn't really mean anything necessarily to a paragraph. But, so that's specific to an A tag. What would you use that for? Not underlining a link. For example, these here are links and they're not underlined. These menu items. So menu item, if you're displaying it like this, which looks nicer, then you would make the text decoration none. So let's see. Your web browser fun, depending on what web browser you have, you can right-click and inspect element. I'm in Chrome here, so this is how it'll look in Chrome. So it brings up something that shows the source and also information about the styles. So if I go down here, let's see, let's look at this. So right now I'm looking at this academic, let's see, this item here. So this is a list item inside of some list. So this menu here is actually a list. Each submenu is a list item that has a list inside of it. And then I'm not seeing anything over here because these list items only show if I'm hovering like this. But so this list item here is an A tag. And if I look under the styles here, this is all the different styles. There's probably one, here's text decoration none. And depending on what browser you're using, you can actually go and change that and see what it looks like right there. So you can see I changed the rule for this to show that. And change that back to none. That doesn't actually change the file, so if I reload, it'll be back to the way it was. Let's do that. So it automatically changes back. But if I'm over at my other page, so I can go here, OK, inspect element. There's my p tag. If I want to change, so here it has the styles that I've defined. There's that one. I could change it to blue there. So I didn't actually change the source code, just what I'm displaying. If you want to experiment, so what does FF00FF look like? That is, what does FF mean? Okay, so most of you already know this, but I'm not assuming you know anything ahead of time. Put in here HTML colors. So names for colors. RRGGBB is 2 hex digits per color. Hex digits are 0 to F. That's the same as 0 to 15. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. And this has the value 10, 11, up to 15. And then if you put two of those together, FF is like 15, 15, but in base 16. So 15 times 16 plus 15 equals, what does FF equal? You could multiply it out and see, it's 255. So, and think of these in base 16, so FF is 255, F0 is whatever this is times 16, 240. If you say pound 100000, then that's the same as saying 10 for red, but in base 16. So 10 would be 16 times 1 plus 0. 10 for red in base 16, which is 16 in decimal. If you need to, then you can go and look up examples of hexadecimal. All right, so but that's one way to display it, to specify color is, it's called a hash code hash. And then what if I wanted to say white? What would white be in terms of red, green, and blue? It's either all zeros or all Fs. White is either going to be all zeros or all Fs. So who votes for all Fs? Who votes for all zeros? Okay, what is white? Is white all the colors or none of the colors? Depends on, so it's all the colors. Okay, so now that's white and on a white background. I can add another rule here. Let's see, I think I can add another rule. So I think background color, and it's nice that it's telling me what's available, so I'll call it black. And that's just on this paragraph. Okay, so what this is, what it's actually doing is each pixel is made out of, there's a red pixel, a green pixel, and a blue pixel. So if they're all off, that's black. If I wanted to give a hashtag for red, what would it be? Red should be on. FF is on. 0000. It's 0 to 255. Or 0 to FF. So over here, the notes say you can also do red, green, blue in parentheses. Let's see if that works. 255.00. It doesn't like that. I just took that straight from the UW site, so that doesn't work. Let's just do it like that. Okay. All right, so any of the styles that you know how to use, you could go and play around here. This is very useful for if you take somebody else's page and you're going to make changes to it. And so you'll have something like the CS page, and maybe you want this underlined thing to be different. And you don't know exactly in the code where that's coming from, because you go and look at the code and it just says welcome. Right? Because the HTML code is supposed to just say the content, not how to display it. And the content of this is welcome. It doesn't say underlined. So you don't know where that is in the rules. You can, so one way, let's backtrack a little. So one way to specify a CSS style is in the style tag. That's there. Another way is in the head. You can say style, give a style tag, and then give rules here. Let's just verify that that actually does. Okay, so it still has text, has not underlined, even though I took it out of the A tag. So you can put a style here inside of the tag. Style equals inside of quotes, property, colon, value of the property. And you have to know what properties there are. Color is one. Is it case sensitive? No? There's a vote for no? I'm not going to, I don't know myself, so I'll delete it. So you can have the style there, or you can have the style tag up at the top and have this says for the A tag, this is a rule, text decoration. I could put up here color blue. They're supposed to be separated by semicolons. So that is blue. We could say text size large, small. No, 20 point. Let's see. Text size, it doesn't like that. Oh, I want font size. There we go. And so you can say that, or I can say large. And then the browser will decide exactly how. That would be larger than regular text. Smaller than regular text. Is there tiny? Is that a choice? No. Okay, so there's two places that you can have it. You can also have it in a separate file. August27.css, and I could put something here. Body, text, let's see, font size, let's say 50% of normal. Okay, so I can put that rule here that says inside the body tag, everything inside the body will have 50% of whatever the normal size would be. But I have to tell the web page that it should use that. So in my head, I can say link, what do I say? Style source. Sounds good. We have to tell it the type. Let's see if it works. So that is large. Let's go back over. Let's see what it. There's body. It didn't find it. Let's go to. Take this opportunity to see what the UW course is doing. Let's see, HTML, CSS, lab, let's go more CSS. Let's see what they're doing on their third lecture. All right, so there we go. So this is what we want to do. That works. The OK got small. Now if we look at the, so if we look over here, we click on the body, it tells us all the rules for the body. So this rule here, font size 50%, and it tells us that it came from this file. So we can click on that and it'll take us to that CSS file. There's other rules. This is user agent style, says that the browser just decided that the margin display, so that's not coming from anywhere. If we click on the first p tag, here's the color, and that's coming from element.style. That means it was just in the code. And then these things came from the user agent, so the web browser was deciding these things. And if we go to the A, so the A tag has these things, and this is from the web page itself. And if you click on it, it'll show us the style tag at the beginning. Okay, so that is the places that you can have your style, either in the tag or at the top of the file or in a separate file. And they like you to do in a separate file because it makes your HTML page separate from your style. So then all you'd have to do to change the style of your page is put in a different style sheet. You wouldn't have to go in and change all your tags. So we'll leave this like that, and we'll work in here. All right, CSS. In general, you have, for a rule there, you have some information here about what it applies to. Then you have the name of the property and the value of the property. If you go to, so a good thing for you to do would be to go to the W3 schools and just browse through the things that are possible. Tutorials, do your CSS. So you could, this will take you through all the nitty-gritty details of CSS, stuff we're not going to cover in here, but if you're actually going to get a job doing this stuff, you want to know more than what we do in here. So you go through, read through, it'll give you ideas. It always has these try it yourself where you can go and change things and then see the results on the fly. That's just like doing this over here in the browser. All right, and if you go and look at the reference, you can see a CSS reference on stuff. All right, so these are all the different properties that are possible just to get an idea of which ones are there. All right, and for the selectors, there are many different ways to define these selectors. So let me do this. let's say we want to have a menu. Of links. Okay, so there's links, and what's this going to display like? There's a list, and they're not underlined because that's in the style at the top, and that applies to all A tags. Okay, if I want to change, let's say that I don't want these bullets to appear, I can go and you can go and search Google for what's the name of the, so I want to modify this li item so that it doesn't show a bullet. There's going to be some property that's named for that, or you can try to figure it out by looking at the, so you look here, li display, so there's a display, there's list style type, so we could try to put that in. Style, type, and then there's all the choices for what this browser understands, and not all browsers will have the same list, but let's do none. Okay, so there's that. So we can go ahead and put that in here, that we could say li okay, now none of them have bullets, but that's going to apply to every bulleted list on our page, which we might not want to do. We might want to have down here also math is fun because let's make this an ordered list. It is so because 2 equals 2 and 2 times 2 equals 4. And also 2 plus 2 equals 4. That's why it's fun. All right. Right. So now that my list down here doesn't have bullets on it either. So if I wanted to apply to this list but not this list, then I could say this. This says that if you get a UL tag and an LL tag after that, so this is nested inside of one inside of the other, // for comments is okay. Also /*. Okay, so that means this is a comment. It's not interpreted. That should, now these OL, the ordered list is numbered and the unordered list is not. All right, but you might want to have other unordered lists, and you might want to only apply this none stuff to the menu. Okay, so one thing you can do is you can say this unordered list is of class menu, JJK menu. Okay, so then we can say the unordered list only applies to things of that class. How do we specify that? Let's put another, let's make this a unordered list just to verify. Okay, so now it's there's an unordered list that has bullets, and here's an unordered list that doesn't. And the difference is that this .jjk menu says we're only going to do this rule for this type of unordered list. Okay, let's take some notes. So CSS, in general, you have a selector, which is, so what's the selector here? The selector is ul.jjk_menu li. That all right there is a selector. So you have a selector, and then you have a property colon a value. Property is list style type, value is none. Okay, possible selectors, the name of an HTML tag. You could have a sequence of HTML tags like ul li. That applies to all li tags inside of ul tags. Okay, you could also have each tag in the sequence could be of a particular class, like ul.jjk menu. Okay, take a second, say hello to your neighbor, and see if you have any questions about CSS. Ready, go.
So, sorry. So basically, you have to put doc type HTML on top, and then you have to put that meta characters.
Okay, questions, comments? All right, so this is how do you learn HTML and CSS? You decide that you want to make a page that looks like something. You start typing stuff in. You search on Google for what is the HTML tag to do blank. What is the CSS property to do blank. You start finding examples. You play around and such. And eventually you remember all the different things that are available. So let's just go through these, and I'll mention, so you want to go through these slides to remember what's available as well, but just a heads up. So we've already looked at this. We've gotten through this. So with the selectors, if you want some rule to apply to multiple different tags or multiple different selectors, you separate by commas. So this doesn't mean an H1 inside of a P. It means apply this both to P and H1 and H2. So that's a shortcut if you're going to do the same rule to multiple different things. These are common ones that you would use to modify text. So this would be like inside of a paragraph tag or inside of a body. So if you want the whole page to be aligned center, Then you put that in the body. Now it's all centered. Text decoration, such as underlining, and if we inspect our element in Chrome and don't type anything, it'll tell us those are the choices, or you go and look on the W3 schools, it'll give you a list as well. Overline, why would you do that? I don't know. Okay, line height has to do with, in a paragraph, how much each line is. So it's the separation between lines. It's like double spacing, single spacing, word spaces in between words, letter spaces in between letters. Text indent is text indent. Okay, fine. Justify is the way newspapers and magazines are, where everything's over on the right and on the left. It looks better than Word. You should justify things in general. Shadowing, fine. List style, these are all different styles for lists. So if you're doing a web page for the Constitution, then you would have Roman numeral lists and such. All right. Background stuff. Background color is just a solid color. So for example, this description has a background color of whatever that blue is. Background image is if you want to have an image. That people don't do that. People don't. So it used to be right in the 90s, you'd have like a repeated image across the page. You guys weren't viewing web pages in the 90s, most of you. Okay. Fine. And then, so this is just ways to modify the background. There's an image. So this used to happen in the 90s. You'd have some image. That doesn't happen anymore. What you might have is you might have a menu. Our menus here on the page are just colors, but if you want to have a menu that has like rounded corners and is shaded, then the menu may have a background image that's just like 1 pixel wide that is repeated across the menu. But then you'd have to have the menu, this menu would be a fixed size, which isn't good style. That's the early 2000s way of doing things, is you would have a background image for this menu item, and the image would be, I don't know, 40 pixels high, and it would have the color shading that you want from top to bottom. It would look kind of cool because it's kind of color shaded. And then it would just repeat to the right. But then if you display it on a phone, it wouldn't adapt to the phone. So that's not current best practice. Position, exciting, great. There's opacity. I don't know that that's used. Shadow. All right, so if you have styles that both apply to the same thing, which one is used? So in my, let's say in my page here, what if I say that the body is black, but list items are red? Which one will it be for this list? The body is black, list items are red. Which one will happen for this list? Let's try it. So we have color black, and we'll have li color red. Okay, so the list item is red there. What if we switch it around? Just okay, red. So whoops, don't want that. Background. I was just saying color. Color will be the color of the text. Okay. So if you look over here inside of, say we're looking at this inspect element, there's a rule for body and there's a rule for LI. The LI is inside of the body. So you do this sort of like in phases. So the body gets a style, black. It'll have black, but then when you get to the LI, it'll apply LI rules. So it's like the innermost thing that you are is the one that applies. So I could make, yeah, just leave it at that. You do it. So I guess you'd think about this this document as like being expanded like this. So first you have HTML. You apply any rules that apply to all the HTML tag. Then you have body. So you apply any rules that happen to body. Black is one of them. There it is. Then you expand it, and the next thing is UL. That's the menu there. So you apply anything that happens to UL. Then you go inside of there, LI, anything that happens to LI. Color is red. So if I just had some text here, it would be red. There it's red. Then I go, the next level is an A tag, and I have a rule for that, which is blue. Okay, what if I had in here I'm going to have style equals color purple. So I have my CS page, this link here, there's a tag, there's a style on the tag that says purple, but there's a rule for A tags that says the blue. Which one will it be? Is it going to be purple or blue? Who votes for blue? Who votes for purple? It's purple. So this is also, this goes, so if you're inside of, let's see, you're inside of the body, you're going to get body rules. You're inside of an LI, you could have a rule that overrides what was for the body. You're inside of an A tag, it could override what was inside of the LI, because you keep applying more and more rules as you go deeper. Then for a particular tag, you'll apply whatever rule is there last. So that's also the order that you go to. So first you go to this file, apply all the rules. Then you go to this, apply the rules. So if there's something here, it'll overwrite whatever was here. And then for each tag, if there's a style there, it'll overwrite what it's on before. So this is the levels. This is the innermost level. Whatever you put here will happen. Yeah, Rahul.
Did that work for bullet points as well?
Yeah, we could put something here. I could put one of these bullet points even and say style equal, what was it, list item type. Is that what it was? List style type. Disk, I think, was the default. List style time, right? Yeah. Where is that? That was here, right? It is applying that rule. Where's the disk? We might have to apply that rule per this. Yes, we'd have to say. Interesting. There they are again, but I believe the list style type is supposed to be applied to the list. So really what we should do is this. And then if we want ul.jjk menu li, we could say let's make it was it already? I don't know. Let's do something else. Padding top. There was something. All right, so the list style type, I think that's supposed to be only for ULs and OLs. It doesn't make, so it'll do unexpected things if you put it for an LI. But so if I go here and say style equals padding top 0. Over in this style sheet, I have the LI, the menu list items have 20 pixels padding on the top. And then for this last one, I'm going to override that and say 0. Let's see. So there is my list item, and it's not, all right, something. If we can see what is going on, there's, let's see, let's click on the list item. It's getting 20 from that is happening first. All right.
So you can change individual.
No, you can. I'm just wrong about something else. Let's leave it at that for now and move on, because we'll see it. They're going to give us the answer here. I mean, they're going to give us the answer at some point. Ladder style takes precedent. We already said that. Cascading. This is talking about inheriting. Whatever happens to the body is inherited by everything else. So here they have everything's yellow. We already talked about that. And then we're on to their next slides. So they're going to give us the answer. Well, let's leave that. So we'll leave that as an open question, and we'll give you guys something to do. So let's say we're sort of through the first week, and we don't really understand all the details of CSS and all the different ways that things can happen until we go and do. So they have their next sort of, most of the next of their week is CSS, more stuff about CSS, but then they're talking about floating layouts. That's like, how do we lay out a page? This is a table here that they have, so that's pretty easy. There's going to be tags for doing tables. I think that's what they have here. This is the whole thing is a table. This is a row. This is a row. This is an individual item in a row. But then, so there's that way of doing things. And then if they're talking about floating elements, when we look in the code here for the CS page, there's div for division. Each of these, so each of the list items has a division in it, which is for doing layouts. Doesn't mean anything to you, but it'll be in the slides and we'll do examples. So that's the plan. That's where we need to go to be able to do stuff like the CS page or whatever. More CSS, all the different intricate ways the rules can go weird, and playing with divs and tables. All right, so you want to look at that because you want to know the answers. That way, when I do things wrong, you can tell me what the answers are. And you want a homework assignment. Okay, so we'll say next class is 9-1. look through first 2 weeks of UW slides, all of HTML and CSS. So we'll keep playing with that next week, and then we'll be sort of done with talking about HTML and CSS, and I'll just assume that you can do it. I mean, there will be still things to learn and remember, but mostly we'll have all the rules down. Also look through HTML, CSS tutorials on W3 schools. Note, if you just want to get an A or B in this class, probably you can get away with not looking through stuff on your own. If you want to get a job doing this, you should, right? So depends on what you want to do. If you just want to get a degree and you don't really care about getting a job, then feel free to not do stuff on your own. But I'm not telling you everything you need to know the stuff, because I don't know the stuff as well as you should. All right, and let's do a homework assignment. So homework 2, I do not have a job being a web programmer. I have a job being a professor. So also my area of expertise is computational complexity. So that's the stuff I know the best. All right, and there's a difference between, so what do I know? I'm a capable web programmer that I can do this. This is my page or whatever, you know. That's, so how often, what percentage of my job is doing this website? Like 1% maybe or something. What percentage of your job will be doing a website? It might be all of your job, right? And if that's all of your job, then you should know it really well. If that's what you're thinking about. Okay, so homework assignment. Homework 2. No, this was quiz. I have things mixed up here. There's going to be a quiz. What happened to my quiz? This should be go here. All right, the homework. Let's just go ahead and put it up here. No, it's got to be homework 3. So this is going to be due Tuesday, September 1st. We'll make a late due date by, say, Thursday. It can always be changed if it's needed. Go with the 10-point route. So first was copy Jeff's, what was it, hello.html into your public underscore HTML slash homework 3 underscore hello.html. Make it so it passes the validator. I don't know what you're going to have to do, but you're going to find it out on your own, hopefully. Practice searching Google, finding stuff out on your own. Okay, so something with HTML and CSS. Okay, so take your homework 2. What was it called? About me. About me.html. Add a about me.css. Link it into your HTML and do the following. What do you want to do? Have an unordered list that is a menu. So the menu should have no bullets, links that are not underlined, links that are larger font, and also have an unordered list in the main page with some information. So you need to do the CSS so that not all unordered lists are looking like menus. Okay, modify the H1, H2 font properties so they look better than whatever the default is. So you can have some headings and they don't look that great. Choose some other font. So choose something besides this, whatever this is. I don't know. Is it going to tell me? I don't know. It doesn't say what the font is. Maybe it does somewhere else. Anyway, so choose something that looks better than that to you and put it in your CSS file. Anything else to make your About Me? Somebody have a good About Me that we can look at? Somebody volunteer your About Me that's reasonably complete. Yeah? All right, what's your number?
26. It's not about me.
Doesn't have to be about you. No, not inside of my directory. No? Is it called something else?
It's about me.
That's
Sorry,
not
it's
your.
229, my bad.
That's not your number.
229.
Don't volunteer somebody else's stuff. Okay, so you want to have a. Let's say you want to have a menu at the top. So have your menu at the top. What else do you want to have? So you're going to modify your headings. Maybe you want to modify the background as well. Make the page have some nice looking soft background color. Right, so soft background color would not be like orange or red. It would be like light gray or something different than white. Okay, maybe after your menu at the top, have some image that stretches across much of the screen, kind of like the ISU main page. Put something. So what you want to do is, all right. So put an image. It doesn't have to be the whole screen because it will depend on how big the person's screen is. But make it centered and make it so that if it doesn't fill the whole screen, then next to it is like some color that it blends well with it. So if there was space over here, that it won't just be white, it'll be some other color. So it'll be kind of looking like a banner. I don't know that I can make that happen here. So let me describe that. So make your image inside of a p tag and give the p tag a background color that looks reasonable with the image. To make the whole thing look like a nice banner. Okay, that gives you some stuff to play around with. And do all the properties inside of your CSS file. And let's say I reserve the right to add more stuff that you have to do on Tuesday. So if you work on it and get it working, that way if we come up with some other stuff that you should put in there, it won't take you forever. Just be like, okay, yeah, I know what to do there. Questions, comments? All right, take a minute